Alright, what is up? It's 11:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Doing some due diligence here. Also helping a friend out getting into the trading business. So we're going to take a look at some stocks. I got my ass handed to me on Overstock.com today. It was a nasty sell-off. So anyways, just wanted to start this channel, hopefully to help some new traders out there, instead of having to go through all the BS services, and most of these services are just pumping and dumping on you. They're not necessarily trying to help you. They make their money on subscriptions for the most part. There are some services out there that are worthwhile. But if you can get it for free, why not? So anyways, started back in 2008. Got some knowledge under my belt. Then hopefully I can help some of you guys. I don't know. Not good at this YouTube thing, so this is my first or second live stream here. So, you know, take it how it goes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am a technical trader for the most part, very short time frames. Either day trade to a couple days out, max a week or two at the most, and that's pretty rare. So anyways, just right now, just waiting on my buddy to call me. I got him started about a month ago, and you know, he opened up a Robinhood account, so he's hooked on it, and so he's always asking me to coach him, but I don't have much time. So we're gonna have, you know, to go to his house, so we're gonna just go ahead and start doing it through here, and just go from there. So I'm just waiting for my buddy to log on. Meanwhile, in the meantime, I'm just gonna look at my watch list, go through all the daily charts, and see what is going on. I'm pretty well rounded. I'll trade anything from sub penny to blue chip stock. So doesn't really matter to me as long as there's momentum. I will trade it. So I'm just gonna keep scrolling through, and as soon as he calls me, we'll get started. So anyways, just typing away here at this stock trading group called Stock Trading on Facebook. Usually get involved. Gotta say good night to Mom. But I'm gonna try to do this every night at 10 or 10:30 p.m. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, especially new traders just getting started, or if you've started and you have not been able to get ahead, you're stuck, you've been hitting a wall. You know, I believe I think I can help you with that. There's a lot of psychology behind this, and not many people cover that aspect of it. You know, it's in my opinion 95% mental, if not 98% mental. It's all mental. I mean, you can learn to read charts. You can even, after a year, a couple years, or even sooner, depends on your learning capability, you may be able to look at a chart and get a very good sense of what might be the next move. You know, you'll get to a point where you're just gonna be like, okay, I know where that's gonna go, or you know what I mean, and you'll have a very good idea of what price is most likely to do next, but you're gonna find that it's very hard to translate that into profit. So trading in a way is simple, just not easy, and that's because you know, it's a huge mental game. So not many. Everybody starts out. If you know, when I started in 2008, I wish I would have started with the whole psychology aspect of it, and not necessarily. You know, everybody starts out the same way. It's trying to learn the charts, trying to learn to predict price. But I think people overlook, you know, when you start out, that I guess in a way you start out thinking that more education equals more money, which is not the case in this game. You know, you can sit there and you can educate yourself all you want. You can practice on a demo account all you want, and you may be profitable on that on that account. But when it's time to put your money on the line, you're gonna find that it's not the case. So, so it comes down to beliefs. You know, you need to switch the belief that X amount of education equals more profits, which is not the case. This is what I thought. The more I learn, the more I read, the more I'll be able to better predict future price or whatnot, but that's not the case. You're going to find that your progress is only made during the time that you're spending inside a live trade with real money on the line. That's, in my personal opinion, that's where you make your progress. So if you spent an hour in a trade, that is your progress. That 1 hour, you can read all the books you want. You can take all the courses you want. You can spend, you know, read 30, 40 books. Doesn't really matter unless you know how to translate that into profits, and that's all mental. There is no secret. There is no. I actually personally believe there is a secret to profitable trading, and that is consistency. You need to be consistent in what you do day in and day out. But maybe I'll cover that in another video. This is just one of my first videos, and again, if you know, I'm just now getting used to this. You know, it's crazy being in front of a camera. It's kind of weird talking to a camera, but you know, hopefully I can help some people out, and feel free to ask. I've been there, done that, gotten burnt, gotten blown up accounts. You know, I started in a brutal market. Actually, it was brutal and it wasn't. I mean, it was 2008, and the OTC market was insane during that time. It was just the OTC that's where it was at, and you know, since then obviously a lot of things have changed, but lost money for 2 years, 2008, 2009, 2010, started becoming profitable 2011, 2012, made money for about 3 years, and then I blew up my account on a short. I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but it might have been 2013, 2014. I shorted Weight Watchers. They had mentioned Oprah had bought into it, and you know, the stock had gapped up that day, had run up really. I mean, it was just running up, but it was this slow grind up, which at the time, due to lack of experience, I kind of, you know, in hindsight, you know that slow grind is a killer for a short or a long. And anyways, kept adding as I normally was doing. I was actually, during the time, I was actually shorting into parabolic moves. But at the time, that was not a parabolic move. It was actually it was just a gap up, a lot of buying, steady grind up, and you know, so I started shorting into it. And normally, what I do is I scale in, and started scaling into that trade. And once I hit my daily max loss, or actually my stop loss, you know, I have a stop loss, and for a particular trade, and then I have my daily stop loss. So once I blew past that, I kind of got the deer in the headlight looks, because I had never gotten caught in that situation. So what I did was broke another rule, which was added more. So I added more size, and at that point I was at my max, and so stock kept grinding higher. I got to that daily stop loss, and I blew past that, and the stock continued to grind higher and higher and higher. And at that point, I was just frozen. It was just crazy. I'd never experienced anything like it. Needless to say, that day I lost 60% of the account, and it was just terrible. So I finally got out. I got squeezed. I got out, and I remember feeling the absolute worst. It felt like shit. So I took a couple days off. I tried to come back, but I was trading to make that money back, and it just got worse. So needless to say, with what I had left, I decided to quit. And you know, I've always been good with cars and things like that, so I decided to start up a body shop, collision. But I only wanted to work on exotics and high-end vehicles. I started that, and it blew up. It blew up quite well. You know, I started doing a small garage, and you know, later on I will give you guys a tour of the shop and kind of vehicles I've worked on. We've worked on everything from McLarens to Ferraris, Lambos, you know, a lot of high-end vehicles. So I built a pretty good name for myself. But the main reason I did it was because I wanted to recover that money, and I knew that with a job it was going to take forever. So I decided to start that business, and I liked, you know, working with cars. So 2015, I fast forward, started getting really good, and I've been doing that up until now. The beginning of this year, I decided to scale back. I got rid of all the help, got rid of employees, and I decided to just go because I started trading again back in 2015, 2016. And I've done quite well since. I've made a comeback, and so I decided to scale down on the shop. So now it's down to a pretty much a private servicing only a few clients. You know, with vehicle collections and things like that. So it's an exclusive kind of situation now. So I'm only taking care of a few clients, and so what I do during the day is I you know, I work at the shop, I day trade, and I'm building an office there just strictly for trading, and that's what I do. So so anyways, long story short, got my ass handed to me here on Overstock. Broker rules. So let's take a look here. We have actually lost a little over $2,000 on this, the 21 and change. So normally I like to let me start off by saying that this was I broke a lot of rules on this trade, but it was a good lesson learned. This market right now is extremely choppy, low volume, very thin. The things that were working here in March, April, May, early June are not necessarily working right now, at least for me, for my strategy. So it was a boredom trade. I had not prepared the night before because I've been cranking it up at the shop since it's been so slow. So normally one of my strategies, one of the patterns I like to trade is if I see a long base like this, and actually, you know, this is coming off normally this type of strategy where there's a long base, stock gaps up and that sells off into that base. I like to pick up some shares right into this support, right? Because you know, you're looking at the stock, it's being supported. You see this dip, 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 right? So you have some support here. So I like to come in and you know, if it sells off, buy into the support. But so what I did, and actually what I did was buy into this this dip. I went in a little heavier than normal for the particular market, and it blew past support. So you know, it's one of those things that I hadn't that has been working so well for me that, you know, sometimes you get caught. You don't expect this not to go. So once I got past my my daily stop loss limit, which is 1,000, I should have been out, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't was because, well, I thought that sell-off was oversold. So oversold can remain oversold for indefinitely. I mean, you don't know. You know what I mean? So once I got a slight bounce, I knew that when I looked at the bounce, if you take a look here, let's take a look at a 5-minute chart. You can tell that these bounces are not gonna hold. Like normally you see this little candle, you figure, you know, we're talking a little hammer candle, but look at the volume, it's very low. So you can tell if you start looking at this. Okay, we're paying attention here. This is a very, I mean, you know, not only that, look at the 20, by the way, let me just go over these moving averages real quick. This is my 20 simple moving average. This is a 13 exponential moving average. This is my VWAP, volume weighted average price. It's 50-day moving average, and this is the 200-day moving average. I like to take a look at all those to get the right context on a particular trade. So anyways, once I was up here, I realized I had gotten in the 40. I'd gotten a 40-25 average or something like that, and which in hindsight, looking back, this is not even, you know, this is under all the moving averages. You know, it was just a bad trade after all. Overall, boredom trade, no preparation, and just lack of recognizing, you know, when you're wrong. You know, it could happen. You know, been there, done that. So once I got to this level here, I was saying to myself, what do we got here? We have a bear flag. Okay, the volume's slow. The bounce, there was no meaningful bounce. Okay, there's no. You want to see a power candle through that 20, through that round number. You know what I mean? This is, you know, through that VWAP, so you can get something significant. But it didn't. It didn't, and I knew at the time I needed. This was it. You know, I was gonna get out, but I had small share size compared to what I normally trade the overstock, and I was like, just gonna let it be. I mean, it's down from $48 to $38. It's down $10. How much further can it go? You know. So take a look. You know, it continues to bleed. What happened here? Okay. All right. So it continues to bleed. Does a little snap, but you can see that these bounces are, you know, this is a power. You know, you powered above the 20 simple moving average on the 5, but the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, there's just no break, nothing, Nothing powerful that you could say. It kept failing at 39 and VWAP. So the double catalyst was telling me, hey, this is now going to bounce. But I remained. Why? Because my share size was apparently small. And so I didn't really, sometimes, you may say you may trade big share lots and then you trade small. You're like, I'm just going to give it some wiggle room. Well, then you end up giving the wrong stock the wiggle room. And so anyways, just continue to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed nonstop, and blew past my stop loss. And at that point, you're looking at this candle right here. It's another hammer. You're like, well, there's, it's got to be a reversal coming in at some point. And so I held overnight. Sure enough, it just continues to bleed, So finally I tapped out and I figured, hey, you know what, this stock, you're looking at here, another VWAP fail, volume weighted average price. That means this is the average price that the market, the average participant is at, okay? So if you're looking at this, right, volume weighted, under volume weighted average price, under, fail, okay, under, fail, and you get so many failures, you need to recognize you're done. It's out, it's done, But what happens is very easy for these ticks, these little green candles, to kind of fool you into, because it fools your brain and it gives you some relief, so you just kind of hang in there. Oh, the bounce is coming. But it all takes that one stock that doesn't bounce for you to get whacked, and that's the one that takes away all your gains. So anyways, I think I sold around here, 32.88 or something like that. Yeah, it could bounce more, but at that point I was down a little over 21. It was my biggest loss this year. I'm usually pretty good at cutting them real quick, but because of the small share size, I decided to give it some wiggle room, and that wiggle room just, there was just no letting go. There was just no it just kept bleeding, and I just kept thinking, what the, it's been a while since I've been stuck in a trade like this. So, but no excuse, I did it to myself, and the stock ended like this. Looking back, let's take a look at the 15-minute. By the way, I take a look at all time frames, all the way from weekly, even as far as monthly. It's a very choppy chart. I'm gonna step back to the 1 hour. It's sitting at this support level. Guys, what a choppy chart just to be trading. This is sitting at the support level, so yeah, maybe we get a bounce tomorrow. But this is a lot of damage done. It's gonna take some time for this thing to settle out. But for now, this is this is done. You take your loss and you move on. This is wide open. So maybe we get a small bounce. Who knows? But honestly, I don't want to stick around to find out. This could easily head down to the 30s. With all that selling pressure. So who knows? But it is what it is. This is the kind of shit that happens when you get in this business, and you learn from it, and you move on, and you rebuild. No big deal. Been there, done that, and so. But just going over, I'm gonna go over the my watch list here. I have a little bit of everything here. I got like I said, I'm pretty well rounded. It doesn't matter to me. I'll trade anything, sub penny all the way to blue chip, so it doesn't really matter. But again, if you guys, if you feel like you've been stuck, you have nowhere to go, feel like quitting, trust me, I've been there. It's been times where I just want to quit, and you know, it's just like, can I really do this, you know, kind of shit. But you can't. The thing is, you have to get through the learning curve, and that learning curve, and it ain't about learning, you know, support, resistant charting, fucking all this shit. It ain't about that. It's about conquering yourself. It's about, you know, when you have that, when you have your mind telling you, hey, you need to be out. This is, you know, this is gonna fail, but yet you sit there. That is, and you hold. That is a psychological situation that needs to be corrected. And so this is one of the reasons, you know, a lot of people get stuck in these trades because you're waiting for that bounce. They never come, and then it just slowly dwindles away. So anyways, just gonna look at a few charts here. XO, I like to step back all the way to the monthly just to get a context. I mean, obviously, you know, this is a downtrending chart. The month's not over. This is a monthly chart, 10-year month. Keep in mind that this candle doesn't mean anything until the month of August is over. Okay, so when you look at these things, you just want to, you know, you can take a look, but realize that this candle it's not over till it's over. So I like that it powered through on, looks like earnings, through the 20 SMA after being in a prolonged downtrend. So we'll take a look at the weekly. And I mean, look at this. You know, this chart's just straight down. This is not one of these charts that you want to be buying. But it does. You know, it looks like it's woken up. You have resistance at 3. Now, I want to talk about this. A lot of people look at this resistance in how do I explain this? It's a very shallow term, resistance. Well, what does that mean, right? What does resistance mean? Okay. Well, I mean, you can clearly see that the $3 level here held. When it dipped below, there was buying. Buying came in. Okay, but you take a look at this volume. Nothing crazy. You can see that it was bought up and immediately failed. Okay, so that failure caused a massive sell-off. Okay, so we're looking at this. The idea is to figure out where the players are at. Now, this is actually forming a reversal pattern. This is actually it's actually caught my attention. I'm a little late to this one though, because I haven't been paying attention too much. I haven't been doing my homework lately, so but let's take a look. This is a nice reversal pattern here. Might have to take a look at the you know, when you look at something like this, you also want to take a look and take a look at the fundamentals, get some insight into what this company is, what it's doing, where it's positioned, etc. Now I can tell you right now that this, on the weekly, this has a chance. Let's take a look at this. $5 level is going to be significant. Okay, $5 level is going to be significant. So now I wanted to talk about this support and resistance. What do we have here? Okay, all right. What do we have here? Look at this volume. Okay, all right. What do we have here? Let's take a look at this channel. Why did this happen? Okay. All right. So we can call that you could call it a shooting start, but I mean, a shooting start is usually found in an uptrend. But you can see the exhaustion volume. Okay, what happened here is that there was a lot of buying, but there was also a lot of short covering. Okay, shorts in this stock. I mean, you got a lot of people that got trapped here. Okay, you got people that bought here, that suddenly got caught on this move. Now there's gonna be There's gonna be traders that held through this. So 90%. The statistics go 95% of traders fail. The majority, if anybody's read up on the Dow theory, one of the points there is the majority is usually wrong. Okay, so you want to identify what the majority is. Okay, so what happens here is price tried to move over this $3 level. Now the $3 level is a psychological mark as well. You could see that we dipped below. Okay, so there was some dip buying, right? Some short covering and dip buying, but immediately failed and it sold off nasty. I mean, we're talking from 3 to 1. Okay, but when it tried to pop over, you got a bunch of people trapped here, and there's bag holders that have been holding this thing for a while. Any chance they get, they're gonna try to unload. And who's buying all the way up here? Probably, definitely dumb money, but not many. Most of this up here in this tip would be short covering. You got shorts that might have gone short here, and here's their stop loss point, right? If you're short this stock, you decided to short this stock, right? And you're holding, and all of a sudden it shoots up for you. And again, this is a weekly time frame. Short or long, you don't know who's what or what time frame they're trading. You can only speculate. So anyways, this whole week sold off. So you can see that the $3 level is going to be significant. There's a lot of people trapped. So let's zoom in to the daily chart. Okay, and here we got that peak, right? There's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of fear. Okay, you got FOMO, people getting in, fear of missing out, and then you got short covering at this price, at this point level. Okay, this was a complete failure of that $3 level. $3 tried to break and failed miserably. Okay, now when you get a failed break, you usually when you get a failed break of a price point, you're going to get an immediate sell-off, and that's what happened here. Then we try to break over 3, sold off. Okay, and then we got this consolidation, price contraction, and now we're testing that $3 level. So obviously, the ideal buy would have been right around, you can see, usually I like to buy when all these moving averages, I like to see a power candle and a slow drift to the 20, and especially if you got all these moving averages lined up like this, the 200, the 50, the 20, the 13, but obviously I missed this completely. So let's take a look at the 50. I like taking a look at the 15-minute chart. I mean, this was a gap up. I believe this was because of earnings. Probably better than expected. I'm not sure. I'm a chartist, so. But obviously, if I was trading this, I'd dig deep a little bit more into the company. So, yeah, buyable dip. So you can highlight this. Let's take a look at where the players are. So the idea here is, you can't look at support resistance in a vacuum. You have to try to identify why is price stalling, why is price, what is the most likely scenario. So we have this 240 level. You can see several reactions. You can see a reaction here. You can see a break through that previous peak here. Another break. I like these moves. The power candles, and then a slow drift to the 20 SMA. I love trading that setup. Hard to find in this choppy market. I mean, it's just, this market's just super slow. So what do we got here? Okay, so 240s is a significant level. Okay, I like to, you want to draw what's called the line in the sand. Okay, where's the reactions at? Okay, 240, right? Break at 240, pull back just under. Opening price right above 240. And then we get a take a look here. All right, so this 240, you can see a bit below was bought, a test. Okay, now we have another level here, which is 270. You can get some reactions here. 270 is another level, so we have this channel here. Okay, finally breaks over the channel, another power move back to the 20. Again, this is one of my bread and butter plays. Power candles, slow drift to the 20. Power candles, slow drift to the 20. So clearly anything below 270, we have another level here. Look at this. And we're looking at a 15-minute chart. We have another level here, 280. And because this is where price came in. Support, meaning buying, came in. And but the problem is you know, risk reward scenario, this isn't, you know, this is not a long, at least for me. You're already up here for resistance, so too late. You know, the move was to be caught somewhere in a buy zone right here for me would have been, but that didn't happen. Anyways, oh, I think I've rambled on for, we got 37 minutes. So if you guys are interested, if anybody's interested, if anybody sees these this live stream, and you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. If you want a topic you want to cover, if you're struggling, if hell, if you need to find ways to make money to fund your account to get started in this, let me know. Glad to help. I think I'm gonna try to do this at 10 to 10:30 every night. But again, if you have questions, there's a topic you want me to cover, if you're struggling, if you're not understanding something within the charts, risk managers, fear, management, fear of missing out, you know, if everything you're buying is crashing on you, if your timing's off, if you know, all these are psychological things that can be fixed. So anyways, just hope you enjoyed. It's one of my first live streams, so if it helped you any, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, give it a like. If you think this may help somebody, click share. Again, I'm going to try to do this every night at 10 or 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see where it goes from there. I certainly don't want to waste anybody's time, and I don't want anybody to waste my time. So, you know, if it works out, I'll continue to give back, and that's it. We'll go from there. I'm going to sign off, and there's one thing to remember from Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone. You don't need to know what is going to happen next. When you enter a trade, you don't need to know what is going to happen next. And just, yeah, stay safe out there. Keep position size in check. This is a very choppy market. Don't try to push trades. And, all right, we'll hope to see you tomorrow. Peace out.